My name is Amanda Olver, and this is a presentation on the review of the healthcare application, Diagnose. The healthcare application, Diagnose, was originally intended for physician use since it includes likelihood ratios within the application. However, this application provides a list of diagnoses categorized from A to Z, and within this, it shows the prevalence of the given diagnosis and the associated signs and symptoms. On this screen, we can see what the Diagnose app icon looks like. This application is available for Android, iPhone, and tablet. It is free to download and easy to use. When you first open the application, the first screen you will see is a list of various diagnoses. Let's say we click on acute cholecystitis. You'll be prompted to a screen that shows you the associated signs and symptoms of the diagnosis, a short paragraph regarding the prevalence of the diagnosis, and the likelihood ratios of the diagnosis. Even though we do not use the likelihood ratios in nursing, we definitely need to know about the signs and symptoms that are associated with each diagnosis. This application may be helpful to a nurse who is on a unit that they are not familiar with if they're floating or something of that nature. This way, you could pull out your application, click on the given diagnosis, and scroll through the signs and symptoms of the diagnosis. This would definitely help with a nurse in their physical assessments and knowing exactly what to look for in their patients. The application is useful to not only physicians, whom the app may have been originally intended for. It is useful to nursing because it can be utilized by the nurse as a reference manual while working in the field. It's a quick guide that provides the diagnosis and the associated signs and symptoms for each diagnosis. And as we know, this will help us in giving better care to our patients by doing a better physical assessment. All the information in the application is from evidence-based research, which is also what we use as nurses in the field. Now let's talk about the usability of the application. When I downloaded the app, it was a quick installation. The layout was neat, simple, clean. It was easy to read. The print is large enough. It was free for download, which makes it affordable and easy for everyone to use. It's accessible, and there's very few steps involved in accessing data. The application also provides an instruction manual. By clicking the question mark at the top right-hand corner of the application, it will show you the instructions on how to use the app. The application also provides each reference from literature at the bottom of all of their information. This application is compatible with all devices, tablet, Android, iPhone, which also makes it convenient for everyone to use. Since the application is a medical app and it does provide us with diagnosis and the signs and symptoms and prevalence of the given diagnosis, it does provide a disclaimer about legal and ethical issues. This goes on to explain how the application is not intended to be used for patient diagnosis or intended to replace any type of clinical judgment. Although the information is derived from research and literature, the app cannot guarantee the correctness, comprehensiveness, or accuracy of the information. The user needs to assume all responsibility for any decisions or actions made based on the information within the application. So now for an overall analysis of the application Diagnose. When I originally downloaded the application, I did notice that it said that the application was intended for physician use. However, after using the application a few times, I can honestly say it is very pertinent to nursing, and I will be using it in the field. The application is free, it's easy to use, the information is formulated from evidence-based research. All of the sources are provided at the bottom of each diagnosis. The signs and symptoms are very detailed. There's even lab values in there for each diagnosis. The layout is neat and clean. It's easy to read. It's a great reference manual for nurses on the go if you just want to reference one of your patient's diagnoses and see the associated signs and symptoms and lab values and the prevalence of the diagnosis. It's great for nurses. In conclusion, the application is useful, utilizable, and practical for the registered nurse. I would recommend every nurse on my floor have this application and use it as a reference guide. Since the diagnoses are listed from A to Z, they provide the signs and symptoms and occurrence of each diagnosis. It's easy to use, free of cost, compatible with Android, iPhone, and tablet. It's completely applicable to nursing because the nurse can reference this guide during a physical assessment and know what kinds of signs and symptoms to look for if we need a refresher.